Well, good afternoon, everybody. Doug Jenkins live from the Findlay Hancock County Chamber of Commerce. I'm with Kiley Rutzler of Event Pro Connections, meeting our new members here on
Mhm.
Facebook Live. Kiley, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about Event Pro Connections and everything you do there. It spans a wide range of services.
Correct, it does. I want to do larger events. That's the long-term goal, but those take a little bit of time of planning and bring into fruition that well, a lot of them aren't happening for a year to 2 years out. So in the meantime, I'm doing some consulting, a lot of social media options as well. So I'm doing a little bit of everything.
Let's talk a little bit about your background in the space. This isn't just something that you picked up one day and said, "Hey, I'm an event planner now." You've been doing this for a little while.
Right, right. Several years ago, I owned my own crafting business and I did my own craft shows for a little bit. And I've always been that natural party planner of all events around me, whether it be fundraising or class reunions. And then also, I worked at a place establishment that I planned a lot of private events. And I've just found so much joy and honest, it's easy to me. So it's like a natural thing for me to just jump right into.
Let's talk a little bit about the event side because I think a lot of times people are like, we want to do this event, we have a kernel of an idea for it, and go. And there are so many little check marks along the way. Certainly, we know all about that from our events here at the Chamber. You know all about them from helping people
Yeah.
plan events and everything. What are some of the things that people overlook most of the time and where they could probably use the most help?
Um, I I truly believe maybe um like asking for help, more help than what you
Yeah.
needed. Definitely, and sometimes not thinking the solution all the way through or not having a backup plan after backup plan, just things that might happen or just try to do too much on their own is probably one of the bigger things.
That is a very good point because you can just inadvertently take on so many different roles in leading up to an event. It doesn't even matter how small the event is.
Right.
It's good to have that extra pair of eyes on it. It's good to have some helping hands with it. And that's where you come in.
Yep, yep, yep.
What are some of your better experiences in helping event planning and where you've really you said you find joy in it and that seems to me that you really enjoy what you're doing and get a lot out of it in return. What are some
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
highlights for you that you've had?
All right now I'm hosting a craft show, or presenting a craft show through the Bluffton Chambers. And it's just, I find passion behind it. I like being more personal with things, like even the customers that are there. I will be very engaging. I'm very committed to, I have 70 crafters who I pretty much
Well,
all know by name. I know by name or I have conversation. And like tonight, we're doing some stuff in a swag bags. And I invited them over because these are a bunch of small businesses working together, and that's why I have so much passion behind it, just because I used to be one of them. And so bringing who I am into some events like this one specifically has helped a lot. So
on the other side of things, you said you're helping businesses with consulting, with social media. What are some of the areas where you're really able to help people get up and running? Again, social media is one of those where everybody's like, "Well, yeah, I'll have social media," and then they
right.
get their Facebook and they get their Instagram and everything, and then they don't know what to put there.
Right, right. I think the difference between me and maybe just a social media person is I come in and really evaluate everything. Because sometimes people think they need a certain type of social media. Well, have you seen this other side that you might want to focus on? And sometimes just business owners are like this, and they sometimes need to be outside that box. So I'm good at questioning people, but making it very personal and never over, not overstepping, but maybe just poking them a little bit, and then we go into seeing, okay, this would be a good option for you. Like maybe having pamphlets versus, I mean, everything's different. Sometimes that pamphlet means more than 2 months of social media work and the price. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of times you need to have that conversation with someone outside your organization just
Yeah.
to make sure maybe you just need to check in that, hey, are we heading in the right direction? Give
Yeah.
them that quick consultation. If we're not heading in the right direction, which way can we be going? Firmly believe that's very, very important for businesses to do.
Yes, yeah, and a lot of my two like niches would be in the they just opened up and they're 6 months in, and it's like, okay, now what? Because a lot of businesses plan for that 6 months and they just don't think past that, and sometimes it's hard to get over that little hump. So just to have somebody just come in, poke you a little bit helps a lot.
How many businesses do you run into when they're first opening? And I think this is something that you and I probably run into where they've built the business, and then there's sometimes that, well, I built it, they will come. To
Right. Yeah.
paraphrase the Kevin Costner movie, Why Can't a Field of Dreams? There it is. Couldn't think of it off the top of my head. Great line in the movie, not a great marketing strategy, and it doesn't necessarily mean that just because you're open, people are going to come in. When you meet with a client who maybe thinks, well, I'm open, that should do it. What are some of the steps that you take to kind of point them in different directions that can be helpful?
Well, first off, I would sit down and ask like what is this supposed to be? What is your environment? What do you want it to be? Because sometimes when they even talk about it, it's not what they're showing it is. Some a gentleman I started helping at one point, it was all he had was roofing in his title of his company. And it's like, okay, you do remodeling stuff too. Like you're X-naying what you are. So just looking at those little dynamics, and then looking at some of the back office stuff just to make sure that kind of stuff's organized, and the communicate a lot of time communication between the customer and the business owner and the customers is broken somewhere along the line. So that's very key of finding that. And sometimes when you're in it, you don't see it. Like a simple, oh, your address isn't on your Facebook page, like
Mhm.
little simple checks like that, just to go through and make sure you're answering your emails and things like that.
Just a quick consult can be a big game changer for a
Yeah,
business.
yeah.
Kylie, if people want to talk to you more about what's going on in their business, whether they need a consultation, maybe they're looking at doing an event, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Just to call me, which my phone number is 419-348-5685, or via email, which is Kylie at eventproconnections.com.
Very good. Kylie, again, we appreciate having you as a member of the chamber and happy to tell the area a little bit more about you. Thanks for joining us this
Yep,
afternoon.
thank you.
For Kylie, I'm Doug. Have a great afternoon, everybody.